Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now January 27th of 2024, and there's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to Disney and all of its divisions, such as Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, Walt Disney Animation Studios, and that's just to name a few, by the way. We know that Bob Iger and, of course, many of those over at Disney have been wreaking havoc over at the company, creating a big mess for everything related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially for 2025, and that movie slate, and we have a lot to go over when it comes to Deadpool 3. Now, thankfully, they did wrap filming as they head into post-production and are beginning to embrace reshoots that will begin sometime in March, leading into April, just before that July release date window. We got the trailer coming out on February 11th during the Super Bowl, so there's a lot of things going on right now. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Ryan Reynolds that I think a lot of fans out there will deeply respect is the fact that he stands up for what's right. He's very passionate about his work, and he will do whatever he has to do to defend Deadpool 3. As we have gone over this before, Disney has been trying to intrude with the third act of the film by inserting diversity, equity, and inclusion and many other agenda-driven strategies into the third act through upcoming reshoots that Ryan Reynolds is trying to sabotage at all costs, and rightfully so. Now, what's interesting about all of this has a lot to do with what Disney did against Ryan Reynolds in the wake of many heated arguments that he had between himself and the Disney heads, and we've had people like Rhett, Reese, and Paul Wernick, the writers of the film, backing him up along with director Shawn Levy. Now, with Ryan Reynolds endlessly defending Deadpool 3 during the drama between the creators and the Disney higher-ups, as they, of course, are now in post-production and planned reshoots, are actually beginning to go into the process on the horizon for the end of March into April. One major development has to do with how Ryan recently was cancelled by Disney in several ways after the ongoing drama that he had with creative differences for the film that are still ongoing as they approach reshoots that will be done in studio. Now, one crucial update to this ongoing situation is that Disney recently dropped Ryan Reynolds from over 4 Marvel projects that were going to be connected to both Marvel Phase 6 and Phase 7 that would deal with mutant-era material. However, the very revealing aspects around this is that Disney was planning a Deadpool 3 spin-off that would serve essentially as a spin-off, so to speak, that would introduce never-before-seen X-Men characters. However, creative differences with this project also rised after Reynolds had a major problem with Disney forcing their DEI agenda to be written into the X-Men characters being an all-female-led cast of characters instead of what Ryan and Disney previously discussed for this project. And though Ryan was able to get the agenda-driven X-Men characters cut from Deadpool 3's ending, he was not successful in negotiating with Disney to delete the concept from an all-female cast getting introduced in this Deadpool 3 spin-off. It turns out Disney was aiming to completely redesign the Gambit character as well, as they wanted to focus on some X-Men characters from a brand new universe. These arguments are what led Ryan to getting axed as a co-writer, and not just from those projects, but also from others, such as becoming a co-writer for Avengers Secret Wars, as Disney has initial plans all set in that were going to pretty much deal with Deadpool in that film to interact with Wolverine. As of now, that is no longer happening at the moment after Ryan was cancelled from co-writing and appearing in the upcoming Secret Wars film. Now, another project that Ryan was cancelled from, both as a co-writer and actor, was an X-Men spin-off series that would focus on the X-Force. This was going to be specifically a story that was going to focus both on Colossus and Deadpool going on unexpected adventures, and ultimately Ryan was very upset with Disney's direction and pitch for the series that turned upside down, that he fell into heated arguments for as well, and was eventually let go from that show. Now guys, let me just stop here quick. Now, this is a fine example of Disney always going into sabotage mode when it comes to projects that had so much potential and so many different opportunities to gain tons of revenue by Marvel fans, by Deadpool fans, or maybe even just people that follow the X-Men / mutant material that wanted to see things like this either on the big screen or on a streaming service. Now look, we know at the same exact time, Disney is greenlighting endless expensive failures for 2025 and beyond, so it's not a big shocker that they really turned the tables here in the wrong way and really betrayed Ryan Reynolds. I mean, they had an agreement to do things a specific way with some of those projects. They fell into arguments because Ryan did not like them, and they gave him the boot for many of those quote-unquote Deadpool 3 spin-offs, so to speak. Now, what's interesting about this is that we know that they need Ryan Reynolds to make Deadpool work. You can't just get somebody else to do the voice or to appear as Wade Wilson. It just cannot be done. It's just like how Hayden Christensen is Anakin Skywalker, or other characters have to be played by specific actors. And in this case, yes, you need Ryan Reynolds to be portrayed by, of course, or to portray Deadpool. It just has to be done. So, moving onwards, alright, as of now, Ryan is only working on Deadpool 3 in post-production and for upcoming reshoots that Disney has planned, along with an untitled project that is set to feature Deadpool. Ryan was essentially canceled from 4 projects in total, known to date, that were all going to push for X-Men appearances and mutant-era entertainment for the Marvel Universe. Now, as of this moment, Ryan's projects have of course hit a brick wall, and both Rhett, Reese, and Paul Wernick have been left behind as well on many of those projects, as they too were set to actually help out with Ryan on many of those installments. This all comes as a result of Ryan also battling Disney over certain decisions made for Deadpool 3, as they are planning to cut back funds on the marketing of the film, which is now just getting discussed between the Disney heads and Bob Iger. So, look, I mean, we know that Bob Iger is a lying CEO. He's going to say whatever he has to say, and he's done this many times before, to really kind of string along the customers, as he likes to call them, and the shareholders into the following year. So, what he's doing now with Deadpool 3, with these reshoots that Ryan Reynolds is trying to put to full stop, is that those reshoots on the horizon are essentially what will be considered their agenda-driven strategies that will be implemented into the third act of Deadpool. We already talked about how some of Hugh Jackman's scenes were axed from this movie that involved his wars that he lived through, like World War II, Vietnam, and even elements of the Cold War that were going to borrow elements from X-Men Origins Wolverine and other aspects of flashbacks that would be inserted in there. Ryan Reynolds basically wanted to perfect those flashbacks in a different light in Deadpool 3 that never got to see the light of day, unfortunately. So, I think at the end of the day, this is bad news for Ryan, and he's still fighting the good fight. He's trying to stand up for what's right here, for what Marvel should be, and I'm just hoping that he keeps things up as long as he can. So, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this ongoing situation below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.